For the very first time, KSAT getting a look at Governor Greg Abbott's new floating border wall.
As we speak, a private company now installing buoys along the Rio Grande, and the purpose is to keep migrants from crossing.
Our Jonathan Cotto live now from Eagle Pass, where those barriers are being set up. You can actually see them right behind you, Jonathan. Do we know how long this will take?
That's right, Steve. You know, in fact, what you're seeing behind me is the state's multi-billion-dollar effort in securing the border. Now, I can tell you, since we've been here this morning, this area has served as a staging area for those buoys. The number of buoys has gone down as they're being trucked out to strategic points along the Rio Grande. But we do know these buoys arrived here in Eagle Pass last week, and the project is projected to take at least a couple of weeks to be completed. The marine barrier is one of the latest efforts by the state of Texas in securing the border. Previously installed shipping containers along the portions of the Rio Grande, as well as razor wire that DPS officials say are layers of defense. Lieutenant Christopher Olivares with the Texas Department of Public Safety says the buoys should discourage migrants from crossing into the U.S., but says some attempts will be made to cross the river despite the barrier and the dangers that exist.
We do know for a fact that whether it be a migrant or whether it be a smuggling organization in Mexico, they're going to try to find ways to defeat this barrier. So we will have manpower that will be monitoring this barrier. And of course, if there's any damages or anybody does make it across, then they could possibly face some type of state criminal charges.
Once installed, the marine barrier would cover about 1,000 feet of the middle of the Rio Grande. They say the buoy system will be netted with anchors that drop down to the riverbed.
Obviously, the buoys will be placed in strategic areas where we've seen the majority of flow, people coming across the river, where some of these areas are very deep, the water is very deep. So we want to prevent those crossings, we want to prevent the drownings.
He says while the number of migrant crossings have dropped, human smuggling operations have increased.
When we come across some of these smuggling situations along the border where drivers from all over, from different parts of Texas, even out of state, are still continuing to get involved in human smuggling and smuggling, migrants further into the interior as well as children.
Now, Steve and Stephanie, it's important to mention that this is an operation that has solely been funded by the state. We know DPS is overseeing the installment, but the actual installment is being conducted by a private company. Now, we know this effort has garnered a lot of backlash by several migrant advocacy groups as well as environmentalists. So coming up at 6, we're going to be speaking with a local leader who says the buoys, well, he says it's just a Band-Aid and not a real solution to the problem. Reporting live from Eagle Pass, Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
Buoys along the border. Giant buoys are being placed in the Rio Grande to try to keep people from crossing into the U.S. illegally.
State leaders say it's an effort to enhance surveillance and improve security. Jonathan Cotto joins us live from Eagle Pass, where those buoys are being installed as we speak. Jonathan.
That's right, Steve Myra. Now, we know DPS has been overseeing the installment of what they're calling a marine barrier. They tell us the buoys will play a crucial role in their efforts of securing the border. And we also know that they'll be placed along strategic areas of the Rio Grande, and they're hoping that it'll deter migrants from even stepping foot inside the water. Now, I want you to take a look at your screen right now. These are aerial footages that our photojournalist Eddie Latigo was able to retrieve. Our drone video shows areas of the Rio Grande that have seen a high number of migrant crossings. On one side, the Mexican state of Coahuila that stands across Eagle Pass. Now, strategic areas of the Rio Grande that divides the two will soon be dressed by orange buoys. The marine barrier is the state's latest effort in securing the border that has raised concerns about the potential impact on marine life and the environment. And some leadership say the buoys are nothing more than a Band-Aid and not a solution to the problem. Take a listen.
Everyone's frustrated. Everyone's tired of this border crisis. Many people are first-generation Americans, and they want to see their grandparents in the eyes of these migrants. But it has become very chaotic, and we've had enough. So while I appreciate the governor doing something with these buoys, it is not the ultimate solution. The solution is finding a way where Republicans and Democrats can come together, and I think that's through work visas.
Lieutenant Christopher Olivares with the Texas Department of Public Safety says the buoys should discourage migrants from crossing into the U.S., but says some attempts will still be made to cross the river despite the barrier and the dangers that exist. Now, Steve and Myra, I have to tell you, these buoys are relatively large. We've been keeping an eye out on the workers that have been working here at this staging area. In some cases, I've seen buoys come up to the shoulder of some of the workers that have been out here loading them onto trucks. But once installed, these buoys are expected to cover at least 1,000 feet along the middle of the Rio Grande. Now, a lot of people have been asking, folks can just easily swim under them. Well, we're told they will be netted and anchored down to the riverbed. Reporting live from Eagle Pass, Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.